parallelogram VEFG is similar to parallelogram VUXW. If you are not color coding, I cannot help you. So make sure you go ahead and color code your sides. Now, we're going to set up a proportion. And I'm going to name this side X because that's what we're looking for, the length of U to X. So the way I always do it, I start with what I don't know. I'm looking for X, and in that shape where X lives, there's another number I'm going to use. The other number I'm going to use, the only other one there, is 9. So once I get that set up, that's half of my proportion. This is where the color coding helps. 9 is orange and X is blue. So the numbers on the other side of my proportion have to also be blue and orange. So now we're looking at the other shape, and the blue number is 5 and the orange number is 12. At this point, if you are struggling to solve proportions, you need to stop and figure out how to solve proportions now. Because it's really important that you know how to do that before you go to 8th grade. Well, really, you can't, you're going to use that all through 7th grade. So if you can solve proportions, you're going to be fine in 7th grade. So if you are still trying to figure that out, I need you to stop and get help for that now. I'm going to make another video just about solving proportions, so you might try to reference that. Number 2. A scale on a map states that 1 inch equals an actual distance of 110 miles. Which proportion could be used to find the distance between two cities that are 2.5 inches apart on the map? Here's your key word, scale. If it is scale, it will either say scale factor, which means you're going to multiply, or it will give you a ratio, which means you're going to use proportions. You don't even have to solve this problem. It just wants to know what proportion you're going to use. So the first thing you have to do, I'm telling you, when it gives you a problem like this, write your own proportion, find the one that matches. You have to find the ratio it gives you. The ratio it's giving you is 1 inch equals an actual distance of 110 miles. Now, the other side has 2.5 inches apart. So if it's 2.5 inches, is it going to go on top or on bottom? Right? It's going to go on top because it's inches. And then what goes on bottom? The X, right? So after you set up your proportion, find the one that matches. We have triangle BCD is similar to triangle ACE. What is the length of side BD? So here's where you're going to redraw. We're going to see, we've got BCD here. We're going to redraw. And ACE, we're going to redraw. So I kind of did it backwards. BCD is smaller. I might even make mine look a little bit smaller. There. So BCD is this triangle right here, this little one. I'm going to transfer all the labels and the numbers over. So B, C, D, I don't know what BD is. What is the length of CD right here? It's not 15. 15 is the whole thing. Right, you're going to have to subtract. 15 minus 9, that is that part right there. So, from D to C is 9. Then we're going to label the other one ACE. So we start with A, C, E, and transfer the numbers. So we know that from A to E is 10, and from E to C it's not 9. The whole thing is 15. Once you have your own drawings, you need to color code your very own drawings. Now you're ready to set up your proportions. We are looking for side BD, so I'm going to label it X, and that's what I'm going to start with. And in that shape, I'm going to find the other number that I'm going to use to help me. Then looking at the colors, I'm going to make sure the colors on both sides match. This is not the only way you can do it. This is just how I like to do it. What color matches X? What color is orange? Or sorry, what color is orange? What number is orange? And what number is blue? So then we can cross product and solve. So 9 times 10 and 15 times X. And now we have an equation we can solve. We will divide both sides by 15. These are opposites, so they cancel out. And X equals whatever 90 divided by 15 is. The scale of a model plane is 1 inch to 12.25 feet. The wingspan of the model plate, I think that's supposed to say plane, is 7 inches. What is the length in feet of the actual wingspan of the plane? So again, you've got scale. It will either give you a scale factor or a ratio. Does it say scale factor in this problem? No. So it's going to give you a ratio. What ratio does it give you? Right? 1 inch to 12.25 feet. So the first number always goes on top. But in case you make a mistake, it actually is no big deal as long as you use your labels. The other number in our problem is going to go on the other side. It's 7 inches, so is it going to go on top or on bottom? Right? It's going to go on top. So 12.25 times 7. I want you to pause, figure it out, and then hit play again. So right now you need to pause. If you have not finished your multiplication, you need to do so now. Pause. Now my question, this is what I ended up with when I multiplied. That doesn't mean I'm right. I make mistakes all the time. How many numbers behind the decimal should I have? Well, I have 1, 2 in my problem, so I should have 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal in my answer. Make that decimal big and fat. So what we have is 85.75 equals 1x. Now, can I divide by 1? Of course, but any number divided by 1 is itself. So you don't even have to divide by 1. Number 5 says a person stands 1.8 meters tall and casts a 4.5 meter shadow at the same time that a flagpole next to her casts a 10 meter shadow. What is the height of the flagpole? So when you see the word shadow, these problems are similar figures problems. They're triangle problems. So we have a person who is 1.8 meters tall. Their shadow is 4.5 meters tall. At the same time, there is a flagpole whose shadow is 10 meters long. So if you look, doesn't it kind of make two triangles? I need you to draw these pictures and color code them. And then you're going to set up a proportion. The flagpole is X, and the other number in that shape is 10. So we have orange and green. What number is orange over here? So that's going to go on top where the orange is. What number is green? That's going to go on bottom. Can you change 4.5 to a decimal? Absolutely. And that might make it easier, especially since our answers are in decimal form.